When we're looking at multiplying or even dividing negatives, there's just one really important rule for you to remember. Can I remind you, you should be making notes in the box on your worksheet, and in fact this rule has got its own box for you to fill in the gaps for. So, when multiplying or dividing negatives, this is the rule. So, when you multiply and divide, negative signs always come in pairs. They're like couples, they're inseparable, they're never by themselves. So if there's ever a negative sign by itself in a question, you know its partner, its pair, its other half must be in the answer because they always come in pairs. Sometimes you might have 4 negative signs. That's okay, you've got 2 pairs. Okay, as long as they come in pairs, you're fine. Now we'll look at that rule and see if that can help us. Hopefully you have got that written down now. Okay. So, if we go back to this, it's again from the brain warm-up. 34 multiplied by negative 7. So first of all, I should think to myself, is my answer going to be negative or going to be positive? Well, negative signs always come in pairs when I'm multiplying or dividing, and I'm multiplying. So they've got to come in pairs, but I've only got one. It's by itself, that's not allowed. I must have the other one of the pair in the answer, which means my answer has got to be negative. Now I don't need to worry about the negative has done its job. I can just do my normal 34 multiplied by 7, which we've done several times, either using the grid or the column, and we're getting 288, because negative signs always come in pairs. Great. Okay, let's look at B. Remember my rule is negative signs always come in pairs. Negative 234 multiplied by negative 8. Well, I'm multiplying, so the rule counts. Negative and negative. I've already got 2 negatives. I've already got a pair of negatives, so my answer must be positive, because if it was negative, I'd have 3 negatives. I'm not allowed that. I'm only allowed pairs. So my answer is positive, so that's fine. I can just do 234 multiplied by 8, which I've already done a couple of times in this worksheet, which is 1,872. Okay, for C, I've got multiplying, so the rule counts. When multiplying, negative signs always come in pairs. I've got 1 negative here, negative 87, multiplied by 45. Well, that must mean that the answer is going to be negative, so it comes in pairs. And I just do 87 multiplied by 45, which again was done in your brain warm-up. Okay, now let's look at D, which is more similar to the ones you're going to be doing yourself, because it's both decimals and negatives. There's a lot going on here. First of all, let's just think, is my answer going to be positive or negative? Because once I've decided that, I then don't need to worry about negatives anymore. Well, I'm multiplying, so the rule counts. When multiplying, I've got to have my negative signs in pairs. I've only got 1 negative sign, it's missing its partner, so my answer is going to be negative. So I can now think of this as 62.1 multiplied by 7.9. This is now a decimal. So I do my rules of multiplying decimals. Stage 1, estimate. So that's 60 multiplied by 8, which is 480. So my answer is going to be around 480. Next, I do the integer multiplication. So that would be 621 multiplied by 79, which you've done previously, 49,059. And then I'm going to adjust my answer. Well, from here to here, I've multiplied by 10, and from here to here, I've multiplied by 10. So I'm going to divide by 10 twice, same as dividing by 100, once, twice, which would give me 490.59, which is in fact close to 480. So my final answer is negative 490.59. So you've got a number of things going on there, remembering that it's negative because you've got to have negative numbers, negative signs in pairs, and we do the normal rules for decimals. Let's do one final example, which is similar to what some of you did in the challenge of the previous question. Just have a go at this. Okay, I have to solve, which means I need to find the value of x for which this is true. So I'm going to get x equals. Now I know some of you have been doing the bubble method for this, so you'd have x, and I'm dividing, because this means divide, dividing by negative 1.5, and I get 3.6. If I do the inverse, I multiply by negative 1.5. So I need to do 3.6 multiplied by negative 1.5. First of all, when I'm multiplying, there's got to be negative signs in pairs. I've got one negative sign, so my answer is negative. So I'm doing 3.6 times 1.5. If I estimate it, that's 4 times 2. My answer is going to be around 8. Let's try doing 36 times 15. 36 times 15. 360, 150, 30. So I've got 360 plus 180, which is 540. So this is 540, but I multiplied by 10 here and 10 here. So I have to divide by 10 twice, once, twice. 5.4, which is close to 8, 5.40, 5.4, so I've got negative 5.4, which means x is negative 5.4. And that is what the challenge looks like. It looks a bit complicated, but it's actually just using all the skills that you're learning about today. Have a go.